transportation. What does that actually mean? It's not, I mean, I don't transport things that often, but what does it actually mean? Do you want me to give it?
Well, sure.
Okay. So it's transportation between systems, between processes, between handoffs, between people. Transportation, sure, to the job site, but also transportation of just communication and information, right? Emails have to be transported. That's not very inefficient, but it is inefficient whenever somebody's not copied on the email. That should be, right? When it goes to the wrong email address and it goes to the spam folder, those are all waste, right? And then you think about going to the job site and leaving tools back at the shop, or materials back at the shop, or having to make material runs. Those are all transportation wastes that people can see very clearly, right? Any other thoughts you want to add on transportation?
Well, no, I think people know what it is. It's the movement of material and ideas and products that don't need to move. I mean, if you work on something, put it back on the shelf, then go back to the shelf and get it and bring it back. Those are little things that if you do it in a shop, you can see it eventually. It's harder to spot in contracting and service industry type things. Because they're just different by nature every day. I mean, they're similar, but they're different. And so the fact that they're similar but not the same, it's easier to not notice transportation issues.
Yeah, it's a pretty easy one to understand out of all of these. Like, oh, yeah, we do have waste in our transportation, right? We don't have route optimization, for example.
Right.
We don't, even just like ones that we've talked about in the past, of the first place we go with the trucks is to the gas station in the morning to fill up the tanks and to get snacks, and that's waste, right?
Yep.
So we've talked about that before. So let's go into inventory. This one, I think I'll let you speak to inventory, and then I'm going to give a different take on it. So go ahead.
Okay. You think I might have the same take? Probably not.
Well, let's see. Let's see.
Probably not. Well, inventory is materials and costs that you have committed. You have money tied up in them, and you have space tied up, and you have risk. I can't tell you how many times working with contractors, I ask them if they have inventory. They say, no, they don't. We walk out in the shop, and there's $250,000 worth of stuff sitting there. It's got money tied up with, they actually go like a box of GFCIs. They don't know where they are. They're covered up with stuff. So they go buy a new one, and those things are $65 a piece, right? So it is definitely waste. It's an opportunity for things to be ruined, obsoleted. Not to mention you got to own a warehouse. If you had no waste, you just have the trucks and go to the job, right? And you wouldn't even need a place to put anything.
Right. Yeah, I think people understand that there's waste in their inventory, and they know they're wasting on materials. They're spending more than they should be. They're having to add materials because they didn't do the material order the right way, and going to Home Depot and getting stuff, but then they don't use it all. They let employees just take home inventory sometimes because they're like, I don't want it to be in the shop and be a mess. Like, there's just all sorts of stuff. What I don't think people think about in terms of inventory is kind of on the back office side, because, and not even just the back office, but you have an inventory of projects that aren't finished.
Okay.
You have an inventory of projects that aren't started. You have an inventory of tasks that haven't been completed. You have an inventory of invoices that haven't been sent, of proposals that need to be made. Those are all inventory items, in my opinion, that are being wasted. If you're not getting your proposals out really quick, you're wasting opportunities, right?
Right.
So, yeah, a different perspective a little bit.
Yeah. Well, it's a different definition of inventory, but you're correct. I mean, it's not materials and products and conventional thought. But yeah, you have a backlog inventory. It's waste again. Of course, you can't do everything the same day. By that definition, there'll be some. But you can certainly cut down what you have and then what you own and what you have tied up. But you have tying up money and space and risk by judiciously purchasing correctly. And then also, it's an aside, but taking stuff back to the supply house.
Yeah.
Take it back.
Yeah.
Let them have it as their inventory.
Exactly.
Buy it again next week. Which is a transportation and motion issue. Oh. Yeah, you got to have AI to optimize this stuff, guys, but the principles are the
No,
same.
that's good. Okay, so let's get into motion.
Yeah.
This is one that is confusing for people. Transportation, motion, what are we talking about? And the way that you would think about it in terms of manufacturing, right? Think about the individual worker and their motion, right? Can they access all of their tools within arm's reach? Or are they having to walk across the factory to get a tool to be able to do the task? There's a lot of time that could be wasted for that factory worker. And if you think about pumping out maybe 1,000 widgets a day, right? Well, if you're spending 10 minutes going and finding the tool, that motion is significant. You could lose maybe 50 of your widgets in that time, right?
Yeah.
So how does that apply to construction companies, right?
Yeah.
It's all over the place, right?
Yeah. It's
And this
when you
is-
think about it, at the end of the day, it's the reason you're exhausted.
Yeah.
I mean, you can.
And
do
the way
some
that I
things-
like to think about this is mentally, we context switch a lot, right? We're multitasking, and we context switch from this project to that project, to this employee, to that employee, to this client, to that client, to this thing that needs to get done on our task list, to this thing. And the context switching that you have is motion. It's motion of your brain.
Yeah.
And
mental.
that's
more
mental-
exhausting than actually moving.
Exactly. It's
It
mental
is.
motion, right?
It is.
Yeah. And so optimizing that, right, can be extremely helpful. And it's a lot of the reason why I think it's important to have meetings, that I don't think enough construction companies have meetings. And they need to do a daily huddle. They need to do a daily production or construction meeting where they go through every project in one setting so that the motion is focused at that time, rather than all of these messages and texts and calls and random things and what's the update. You still need some of that stuff. I'm not saying that you shouldn't communicate about projects, but there should be a detailed, focused time where we talk about what we're doing today, a detailed, focused time on like, what's the status of this and what are the next things that we need to do, because it helps with that motion.
If this episode brought you clarity, we've got plenty more where that came from. Check out our full library at thecashflowcontractor.com. See you in the next one.